Before I put it back in the car, I thought I'd show you the two pieces. So this is the cover that goes up to the supercharger. The supercharger pulley fits in that area, and then you might call it a scoop or whatever. It's got an opening here with the screen in it. You can see the way I made this piece on the bottom. That interlocks with this piece. It gets folded together right there. And that I could take it in and out of the car as a complete unit, or I can just take this part of it off. Obviously I took it off to work on this panel, but I'll put these two together and I'll put it back in the car and show you how it looks. So I assembled the supercharger scoop, whatever we want to call this piece. Assembled on the piece that I just completed. Now, see if it fits. Okay. Put a couple screws in there just to hold it. So when I put my other panels in here, I'll put these screws in, which will hold that down in place. This piece is nice and solid. The hood bumpers, as soon as I put those in, tighten that down, it's not going to move, it's going to be solid. Close-up shot of it. So here's the piece that we just added. You can see it turned out pretty good. Seems really clean and really, it's ready to paint. Put epoxy on first, obviously, and then paint it. You can see down below, I've got just some wood spacers in there taped right now. I'm going to make a permanent spacer to keep this from pushing down. Besides, there's a flange on the fender that holds it up in the center. I needed a little spacer. Otherwise, it looks pretty good, I think. So what did we learn putting this piece in? We learned if we take a piece of sheet metal and we break it, it makes it nice and solid. Putting one bend in it really stiffens it up. But if we put two bends in it, it even makes it stronger. And then if we put a rolled edge, it gives you a nice finish. Instead of a square, a rolled edge. See the difference? That finish is just so much nicer. And then it also gives you a place to weld on the back side, and it won't warp, won't buckle, it'll stay straight. If these two pieces were flat, butted together, this would want to go like that. It would really warp up and down. But just putting a small bend in it, or a roll like this is, will prevent that. So that's something to keep in mind if you're gonna do something. Obviously you may never build a panel similar to this, but you could apply this to a lot of different areas. And if you just keep in mind, if you bend it or you roll the edge before you weld it, it makes it the finished product so much better. Also trim all these pieces up. Got that all done today too, so just coming along. Next, I put the fenders, the hood. I got the fenders in the hood lined up pretty decent. You know, my margins are all pretty equal. I still have to tweak them a little bit before when I do my body work, but my grill's lined up. Got my hood molding on. Put this little Shelby on there. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that yet or not. But the next step, I want to finish the edge of this radiator cover. So right now it's just got a raw edge there, and I like to hem everything. Like these panels are hemmed. I've got these setting in here after I got my fenders lined up. I mocked up my engine panels, just put a couple screws in them. Temporary, these will have the stainless button heads when I'm done, but so I got a nice equal margin down the fender here. I rolled this edge, or I hemmed it, and then I capped this edge, which you can't see it from here, but you can see the difference in that's a rough edge, and then that's a capped edge. So I'm going to cap these edges too, and that'll be done. This is hemmed. I'm going to trim this piece on my red line there, so I got an equal margin going down my fender. I'll cut that and cap it. I'll do the same with this side as well. That'll just finish the edge of the radiator cover, and then I will be done with it. So I'll pull that off and I'll show you what it looks like. I got the panel out and I made a piece for the end. So what I was saying when it was in the car, not sure if I explained it well or not, but so this is what I consider a raw edge right there. You can see this is a hemmed edge, and basically that's just rolling the metal over on itself, so you got a nice hemmed edge, not blunt, not sharp like this is. I tend to like to finish everything off as the best I can, and so in a situation like this, I'll cap it. And so I made a piece, just a piece of sheet metal, and I bent it, or I fit it inside there like that. My magnet will hold it in place while I weld it. So what I'll do is I'll weld that edge, sand the welds down, and then just cut this out just so there's about a 3/8 flange around the perimeter of that. That'll just finish that off. That edge, you know, won't be a sharp edge, and it'll look finished. So I'm gonna weld that now. Get it lined up. Just tacking around the edge, won't take very long. Sand it off and finish that. It'll be done. Yeah, I'll grind it off. Scotch-Brite. Okay, that didn't take very long, but I think that just finishes that edge off a lot nicer. Now I'm going to just take a marker and mark the edge of that. I just scribe about a 3/8 margin here. So just cut that out and sand it. I use 10 snips to just rough cut it out, get most of it out of there. Bulk out of it. So it's so small, I'll just use this little die grinder here. I cut it with the tin snips, I got it just a little bit. It bent that just a little bit. I flattened it out with hammer and dolly. Okay, that one's done. Just got a nice little flange on the end of it. I think that looks better. Maybe I'm overdoing it, but it didn't take that long, and just one little added step that I think it finishes everything off nice. I'm going to go ahead and weld this end on and finish it, and then put it in the car, and I'll be back. Okay, I got that one welded on and finished. So that's the other end, and it's all ready to epoxy and paint. Don't have to do any filler on those edges. And as you can see, I'm getting good penetration. Hopefully you're seeing that. That's key to get good penetration, so your weld melts all the way through, and then you can sand the edge down to like that. Otherwise, if you don't get good penetration, you can blow right through your weld once you sand it. So something to keep in mind. You can always hold it up to the light, you know, like this, and see if there's any pinholes. But once you do it for a while, you get a good feel for how well you're penetrating your panels and your weld on the back. You can look at that and make sure you've got good penetration. The other side's done as well. So now that's ready to put on, but I think what I'm going to do is, when I designed this originally, I made these in two pieces, and I could take both. There's really no need of taking one piece off on the car because I've got panels on both sides to access the air cleaner and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and weld this on, weld these two pieces together. That way I can get rid of these screws here. I think it'll just clean it up a little bit better. Had a couple guys stop by the shop, and you know, that's one comment that I had two guys make comments about, ask me if there's any way of getting rid of those screws, and there is. So I'm going to do that next before I put it on. So I'll be back.